Congratulations, Abhishek, for your two-digit rank, All India rank 78.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for having me on your platform so that I can share my views with the larger aspirant community.
Yeah, Abhishek, how do you feel like having got this two-digit number below 100 rank, and one fine day suddenly you found that you are an IAS officer. Till that one last minute, you are an aspirant waiting for the result.
Sir, definitely it is very overwhelming feeling. I don't have any words to describe this emotion that I had when I saw my name in the PDF. And slowly, when things started settling, I started feeling more and more gratitude and more responsibility. Still, I have not joined the job, but still I can feel the pressure of responsibility that will come on me in future. Along with that, I'm very grateful, sir. I'm very happy, very grateful to God that because we all know that this examination has luck as a minor portion, but it has a role to play in this examination. So I'm really happy and grateful, sir.
Wow, with that grateful note, let us today have a small discussion on what are the kind of tips and tricks, or whatever you call, maybe some people call it as a hacks. So in different levels of your preparation, maybe it might be prelims, or it might be mains, or it might be personality test, or might be that how did you balance all these things. We'll start with your beginning. Okay. So when did it start actually? Like I want to prepare for civil services. I need to crack this.
Okay, okay. So actually, I don't remember that when in my childhood I got this thought of becoming IAS officer. But after my selection, I heard from some of the elders that when you were in fifth class, you used to say that you want to become an IAS officer, and I was shocked because I don't remember that in class fifth I used to say. But actually, sir, in my college days, like this was about childhood, then the beach cup period is gone. In my college days, when I used to participate in national service scheme, like government's national service scheme, in which various activities at the grassroots level were conducted. For example, blood donation camp or cleanliness campaign or education donation campaign. All those things, visiting to villages. I really got a lot of interest, lot of happiness when I used to communicate or talk to the people at the grassroots level. And at that time, I decided that this is something that I can do for the rest of my life. Like if I have given the opportunity, I'm giving the opportunity, I will be interacting with people. And I found that I'm good when I'm interacting with people. It gives me happiness. So then I started deeply looking into the UPSC syllabus, UPSC, what is the demand of UPSC. I started watching the videos of various toppers on the YouTube and various bureaucrats. I used to watch their podcasts. I used to listen. Then I realized that wow, this is such a good field that I can do this for my whole life. And then I started preparing in my fourth year, like final year of my college. I started giving serious attention and seriously started preparing.
Okay, okay, excellent, excellent. So you had a feeling that in the final year of your graduation that you want to crack this exam. But somewhere down the line in your preparation, somewhere you should be getting a feeling that I started enjoying this learning journey. When was that?
Right.
Because the learning journey is very
So,
important rather than just I want to crack, I want to crack.
sir, this is true. Because when we enjoy something, then only we can sustain in that process for a longer period of time.
True.
And it is true that that as my academic record was good, I am from IIT background, and I was studious like from the beginning itself. And I used to enjoy learning, like you're asking. So I think I had an inherent interest in reading books.
Wow.
So when I started reading books in my fourth year, like polity, history in a deep, I used to like it. Like I heard one very famous speech by Gaurav Agrawal sir, who is All India Rank One of 2013. He said
Hmm.
that the biggest motivation is when you enjoy the books itself. That is the biggest motivation. Then you do not need any external motivation. And
True.
I completely resonated with that line, that thought. And I realized that, oh my God, I should definitely go for this examination. And here I am. Very grateful.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, Abhishek, let us start our phase-wise preparation tips and tricks. So, let's talk about prelims exam first. So, to begin with, what was your overall strategy for approaching prelims exam? And did you
Right.
rely? See, generally, what happens is when people start for prelims preparation, maybe in the month of January or February or March, whatever time might be, people talk about multiple things like conceptual clarity or MCQ practice or both, because prelims requires your practice as well as conceptual clarity. That's what I believe, or that's what most of the people believe. What do you think you have done? It is more practice oriented or more conceptual clarity oriented that you have done from your perspective?
Right, sir. Sir, before that, I just want to tell about my journey little bit, because
Hmm.
it was 5 year long journey. I graduated in 2020, and this was my fourth attempt. And
Okay.
I gave four prelims, in which first two prelims I cleared. But in
Okay.
2023, I did not clear prelims. And
Hmm.
then in 2024, I cleared prelims, and not only PSC cutoff, but as well as forest cutoff.
Wow.
And in my first two attempts, like 2021 and 2022, I cleared prelims, but only 1 and 2 marks more than the cutoff, like general cutoff. I was always on the border.
Hmm.
And 2023, because I was on the border, means I had just cleared, means there was always a chance that I would fail. So
Hmm.
in 2023, I could not clear. And
Hmm.
2024, I prepared in such a detailed way, in such a manner that I cleared the forest cutoff. Now, having said this background, now I want to tell what I did differently.
Hmm.
Because of it, I reached the forest cutoff.
Right.
So, sir, what happened in 2021 and 2022 prelims? I was totally relied on the knowledge,
Hmm.
not strategy. I was like, give me 10 books, I will read everything.
Hmm.
I used to be a material collector. Like
Okay.
this was me in 2021 and 2022. I used to like read, like I used to see topper stock. They suggested some book, I will read. Means my focus was, in fact, at that time I was not focusing much on means, because I thought that I'm too bad in prelims. So I started reading multiple books, Lakshmikant, and then Spectrum. Then like whichever NCRT somebody is recommending, I will read. So
Hmm.
through that process, I made a lot of mistakes, and I realized that because of this knowledge, because of this extensive reading, I could clear the cutoff, but just by 1 or 2 marks margin. When
True.
2023, when I failed, I realized that only knowledge is not enough in this exam,
Hmm.
because because UPSC can ask questions from anywhere, and it
Hmm.
is, you cannot read everything. And
Hmm.
if you go only on the basis of knowledge and only on the basis of reading, you cannot clear. So what
Hmm.
happened in 2023 when I failed? I started looking everything from zero. I One more thing I want to mention: in 2021 and 2022 prelims, I did not solve a single previous year question. I
Oh.
was like, it was totally knowledge and extensive reading. But in
Hmm.
2023, when I failed, I started questioning that what happened, why it is possible, why it happened that two times continuous I cleared flames and third time I failed. Then I realized that I was totally unaware about the pattern of UPSC. So I was not at all relying on the tricks. Like in
Hmm.
2021, 2022, I did not apply any trick. I used to totally, this is my knowledge, I solved. But 23, what happens? Pattern was also very different. Like
Hmm.
statement based questions were there. I failed there. My knowledge failed there. Then what I did, now this is my second journey for films. Second journey that I started for films is that I extensively started doing previous year question. Like I have done 35 years of the previous year questions, and
Wow.
in very detail. Very
Wow.
detailed. Very detailed means each option I will read, each wrong option I will read, and then I solved previous year question multiple times. I understood the pattern behind previous year question, because after 2023, I realized that UPSC follows a pattern. Means
Hmm.
there are certain keywords that I have to identify. There are certain tricks that are there, that are always applied. But it is also true that you can only apply tricks when you can only understand pattern when you have a lot of knowledge. When your
Hmm.
knowledge base is there, then only you can understand pattern properly. Otherwise, one cannot understand. So what happened? I started identifying keywords. For example, after 2023, I got to know that like moderate statements are usually correct, like
Mm.
extreme statements are usually incorrect. This was not in my knowledge before 2023 because
Got it.
it was totally knowledge based. So what happened? I started doing extensive research. That many times I saw many patterns. First, many questions are repeated. This is
Mm.
true. In UPSC, many questions are repeated. Second, there are certain areas from where more questions are being asked. There are certain
Mm.
focused areas. Like for example, in environment, I saw that IUCN status were being asked, or questions on the UN body, UNEP, UNDP, they are being asked. Like that, I identified areas. In polity, I saw that which areas are being more asked, which areas are being less asked. So in this way, I started understanding the pattern of UPSC, and then I started identifying the keywords like statement. I actually my whole preparation was identifying the statements that UPSC is giving. A statement means what kind of statements are usually getting correct, and second, what kind of statements are usually getting wrong. I am talking about probability. I am not talking about certainty. Like which statement has more probability of getting corrected. So I identified some 20 to 30 patterns, 20 to 30 like uh, types of statements. For
Right.
example, suppose there is a word like completely, any, only, drastically. They are usually
Mm.
incorrect, right?
Mm.
And then there are some words like some, ain't, some, and then maybe, can, all those things. So this is only some example I am telling, but
Mm.
trust me, sir, there are 25 to 30 patterns, very specific patterns, and
Wow.
UPSC is repeating those patterns every year. They
Okay.
are they are not changing these patterns. But
Mm.
to understand that pattern and to internalize that pattern, one has to do at least 3 to 4 times or 5 times the previous year question. It is very
Wow.
important. In one go, in two go, a aspirant may not be able to understand or identify the pattern
Mm.
or statement or the wordings of the UPSC. But after doing it multiple times, one will be able to identify. So what happened in
Mm.
2024, before 2024 prelims, I did this previous year question. Then
Mm.
of course, my knowledge base was good because I used to read a lot. My reading was very
Right.
expensive.
Mm.
But
Mm.
in 2024, I limited books. Like having read many books, I now knew that which books are very good and which books I should avoid. So I
Mm.
identified certain books and I used to repeat them multiple times. Like revision was a very big tool in my preparation. I remember that I have read Lakshmikant at least 15 times. Like I have
Okay.
read 15 times, it could be more. Similarly, Spectrum, and then for environment, I used to follow PMF, IAS. Like I knew in this 5 years of my long journey, I knew that which is the best source for which subject, and I
Mm.
strictly adhere to them and I strictly revise them as
Mm.
as many times as possible, sir.
Mm.
So this is my crux of prelims preparation.
Mm.
Regarding test series, I did not focus much on the test series or
Mm.
mock test of the prelims because I was
Okay.
preoccupied with the previous year question. As I told, I solved previous year question multiple times, and solving 35-year question means the 35 mock test. It is equal to 35 mock test. So I
True.
think, sir, whenever somebody comes to me and they ask whether they should go for previous year question or coaching mock test, I always tell them that first finish the previous year questions. If you have time, which I know that you won't have, if you have
Mm.
time, then only go for mock test. Because what happens, sir, is one more important point that I want to highlight is that UPS is a pattern, and many coachings are creating test series which, and they are deliberately creating such patterns which are opposite to the UPSC pattern. So
Right.
what
Right.
happens? Suppose in UPSC, word only has high probability of getting incorrect, but coaching institutes will make sure that the word only will be put as a correct statement.
Correct.
What
Okay.
happens, sir? It distorts the pattern in the mind of an aspirant. The
True.
aspirant will get confused, sir. If
Mm.
he is totally too much relying on any coaching institute, the aspirant will get confused, and tomorrow he will not be able to score because he has no
Mm.
clear idea about the pattern. So, sir,
Mm.
my humble request to all the aspirants who are watching is that please go through the previous year questions, and then if you have time and understanding, then go for the mock test. So, sir, this is in nutshell my previous year, like prelims strategy.
Wow, wow. Excellent, excellent. It's really a very good revelation because most of the aspirants they run for test series. Some of the students which I have talked to, they said like maybe 120 tests, 140 tests, mock tests, yeah, 140 mock tests they have written. I was surprised to see how did you get so much of time to practice so many mocks. No, but they said like, हाँ sir, मैंने किया sir. अच्छा ठीक है यार. At least after writing those many mocks, if you really understood UPSC pattern, then well and good. If not, what's the point in doing
Right,
so many
right,
mocks? But look at you. You have done all these mocks with respect to PYQs. What best can be done? है ना? Because
right,
PYQs is the
right.
best sources for us. उससे बढ़िया sources कहाँ पे मिलेगा हमको? Excellent, excellent, man. But at the same time, what I could understand from your experience is prelims people feel like it is highly unpredictable. But you know what you have done? You have made it as a very predictable one now. With your strategy, you made
Right.
it as highly predictable one. So, but whatever it is, prelims may there will always be certain questions wherein you cannot predict what kind of answer it would be. So, how do you mentally and physically prepare for this kind of uncertainty in prelims?
Right, right. Very, very relevant, very good question, sir. Because for that also I have a story. In 2021 and 2022 prelims, I attended only around 75 questions, like less than 75 questions in both attempts.
Right.
And I could clearly clear the cutoff. In
Hmm.
2023, same I did, but in 2024 attempt, I attempted 98 questions out of 100.
Oh.
And I have come to this conclusion through my
Hmm.
personal experience is that attempting more questions is always rewarding.
Hmm.
Why? Why, sir? Because see, there will be questions which we feel that we know. There will be questions which we feel that we don't know. And
Hmm.
I have found that many times I take the answer with full certainty that this is my answer and I have read this. But sir, I used to check the answer and it used to get incorrect.
Hmm.
And there were many cases where I was not aware about the answer. I did one intelligent guessing and I used to find that my answer got correct.
Hmm.
So I came to this conclusion that treat every question equally. Whether you
Okay.
know it, whether you don't know it, but
Hmm.
have an intelligent mindset, have an intelligent guessing ability that can only
Hmm.
generate when you have done a lot of homework.
Hmm.
Whether there is an uncertain question, whether there is a certain question, I started attempting them with same confidence because the confidence is key. I have seen that seeing a question which is very like which aspirant is very unaware about, they get frightened. They
Hmm.
don't want to attempt. They fear that a lot of negatives will happen. I know negatives will happen, sir, but once one is confident about one's strategy, once one is done, one has done all the homework, then if
Hmm.
done with lot of confidence, attempt with lot of confidence, I have seen that I used to score positive marks, like even plus one marks, even plus
Hmm.
one mark. I am attempting 20 questions which I am unaware about. I will get plus
Hmm.
one, but I will never go into the negative.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if my days are good, then I may score like plus 15, plus 20 if I have attempted the question which I am unaware about. So, sir, UPSC will always have questions which we don't know about. But, sir, I think confidence is the key. Believe in one's hard work and homework that one has done.
Hmm.
In one's pattern analysis, one can, sir, go for it. And I also believe when an aspirant reads extensively, like very
Hmm.
extensive reading, then the mind becomes very broad. Then the
Hmm.
thinking pattern becomes very broad. Anything, any statement is given, one can apply logic. What
Right.
happens? One can try to have an intuitive guess, like how a bureaucrat thinks that tomorrow a bureaucrat will be faced with unexpected problems. So are they not going to attempt that problem? We have to anyway attempt that problem, and how we are going to attempt that, that will be based on our previous experiences or based on intelligent guess, right, sir? So in that way, I took prelims paper in that way only, and I attempted maximum questions and answer. I got really good marks. This is my
Excellent.
experience.
Excellent. No, attempting 98 with confidence itself is humongous. It's not a small thing because people attempting 85 to 90 I have seen. But crossing 90, I think you are the first one I have seen till now. And that too attempting 98 questions. Wow, this is extraordinary feat.
cleared, cleared forest cutoff. See, because of that only I cleared forest. When I checked my answer key, believe me, sir, I corrected 15 to 20 questions which I had zero idea. I corrected 15 to 20 questions with zero idea.
Zero
And
idea.
so that was only on the basis of, sir, a bureaucratic mindset. I realized that we have to think in certain way. Like, I
Hmm.
think UPSC is trying to extract that kind of aspirant from the community, those who can think in that bureaucratic way. When
True,
you
true.
see a question, how one aspirant is reacting, that is very important, sir.
Exactly. You're right. Now, Abhishek, you tell me one thing because you said like you have done a lot of analysis of PYQs. Okay. Now, PYQs, there are two ways of looking at PYQs. One is PYQ attempt as a test. Number two, PYQ keep attending without looking at the time frame. Because first case, you put suppose there are 100 questions in PYQ. Obviously, an entire test paper will have 100 questions. You keep a test for you for 120 minutes and write the test, which is PYQ test, or it might be a mock test also. Okay. Number two is forget about the time. It might be 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, but completely understand the test. Write the test and understand the questions. What is the right thing, right framework one should have while attempting a test? Number one. Number two,
Sir,
what
I
should be after attempting the test? Is there any
right.
checklist that you have to maintain after attempting the test? If these things are checklist matlab एक है that the statements are there. What kind of statements are there? Number one, you identify the statement just mentioned initially, and then number two, if this statement is there, whether that comes to be right or wrong. Number three, if you don't know anything about the statement, how do you approach that? So there are so many things in one single question. So what do you think like your approach should be?
Okay, sir. Okay. The first question was the first and second option that you gave me. So I will go with the second option in which I do not have any time constraint. This is
Right.
what I did, sir, because I realized that solving previous year question with free mind is very important. Because, sir, the ultimate aim is not to score the marks. The ultimate aim is to understand the previous year question and the pattern
Hmm.
and how we are thinking, how we are reacting to each and every question. That should be the ultimate answer because one can definitely attend one or two question paper in a time bound manner. I'm not refuting that because before the examination, one or two question paper you have to attempt in very time bound manner. Try to
Hmm.
finish it 5 minutes before even. So,
Right.
but sir, when we are learning, when we
Hmm.
are learning, we should not be bounded by anything. So I will say go with the second approach in which one is solving question with full attention, giving with free mind, and
Hmm.
then come to a conclusion. Then only when you start matching the answer key, then you will know that okay, you will be deeply aware about your thought process. That why you corrected, why you made it incorrect, what you were thinking when you were putting tick mark on this, like that.
Hmm.
And this is the answer to first question. Second question you asked that what should be the checklist.
Right.
Sir, the checklist is when we are checking the answer, our approach should be first getting the right answer, that which is the right answer,
Hmm.
explanation of that answer, then
Hmm.
all the three wrong answers that are there, we have to know about them as well. Do not
Hmm.
ignore them. Try to know them in detail. And
Hmm.
sir, trust me, many times questions are repeated from these options. Many
Hmm.
times in the future years, it has been seen. If you see previous year questions, many keywords have been put as a question. Like,
Hmm.
so what happens? Each wrong option you must be aware. And this is the
Okay.
second point. Third
Hmm.
point is, sir, one should know the keywords that are used in each statement. Like I earlier mentioned, pattern. Pattern means what kind of keywords are getting incorrect and what kind of keywords are getting correct. Means,
Hmm.
and along with that, nature of a statement, whether it is moderate, whether it is extreme, whether sometimes we have to also think from examiner point of view that
Right.
when examiner is making the question, what could have been his thinking?
Hmm.
Sometimes reverse engineering is needed, and
Right.
reverse engineering that can only be done when your theory is very good, sir. This is very important. Many aspirants, when I give talk, they say that, sir, have you cleared the examination only based on the tricks? So I say that no, it is not the trick. First, you should be well aware about the theory. Your theoretical knowledge should be very solid, very strong. You should
Hmm.
have read Lakshmikant 15 times. Then only quickly in seconds you will know what is going on. So
Hmm.
this would be the approach, sir, and one should make a like take A4 sheet whenever one is solving any mock any previous year question. Try to have a A4 sheet where you can write the understanding that you have generated after solving this paper, the
Hmm.
keywords that you have identified, the patterns that one has identified. One should definitely write in that A4 sheet, and one should
Hmm.
keep on adding in that A4 sheet with each paper that they are going to solve. So this is, sir, my basic approach.
Hmm. The same approach for CSAT as well,
Sir, for
prelims.
CSAT, for CSAT, I would say a lot of practice is needed
Hmm.
of the previous year question as well as advanced question. Because, sir, in 2023 prelims, what happened? You have
Hmm.
seen the CSAT paper. It was extremely tough, and
True.
there is a every probability that in any given year that kind of paper may again come. And
Hmm.
sir, as I am from IIT background, I did not have to do much hard work on the CSAT. I realized that in 2021, 2022, and 2023, without much hard work, I used to clear the cutoff of CSAT. And sir, that also not very high, like only 5 to 6 marks more than cutoff. My score
Hmm.
was in 70s all
Okay.
the three times, 21,
Hmm.
22, 23. But
Hmm.
sir, after 2023 prelims, I was really afraid because I saw that CSAT is getting very tough. Then I
True.
decided that whether I am from IIT or not, it does not matter. UPSC is a level playing field. Ultimately, you have a chance of getting failed, and
Hmm.
that happened with one of my fellow batchmates. He this time he cleared. He will probably be getting Indian Foreign Service, but sir, he
Hmm.
failed CSAT, and he
Okay.
failed it by only 0.1 marks. He is also from IIT background. So
Wow.
what I did, sir, I started doing advanced book as well. The first approach was to solve all the previous questions. That goes without saying. You have to
Hmm.
solve like for CSAT take 10 to 15 years because the older questions are too easy. Like
Hmm.
only solve for 10 years or 15 years, I would say in case of CSAT. And
Hmm.
sir, other than that, there is a one book, CAT book by Arun Sharma, sir. He is
Hmm.
specifically for CAT
Hmm.
examination. Arun
Hmm.
Sharma, like he gives advanced questions like for permutation combination or maybe
Hmm.
for arithmetic, maybe for
Hmm.
reasoning. His book is divided into three levels: level one, level two, and level three. Level one is basic
Hmm.
questions, then advanced, and then more advanced. So, sir, I used to solve till level two, and then I felt very confident that any type of CSAT question I can tackle. And sir, in 2024 attempt, I scored 100 marks in CSAT.
Wow.
Like
Hmm.
earlier, my score only around 70s, like 75, I remember. But this time I
Hmm.
scored 100. And for one more thing, before CSAT, before the prelims examination, before 4 months, I used to give daily 1 hour to CSAT specifically. 1 hour
Hmm.
daily for 4 months I have given to CSAT, sir. I used to solve Arun Sharma in a very good way. I used to solve previous year questions. I used to
Okay.
do, I used to, like, I have many friends from IIT, so we used to discuss
Hmm.
questions of CSAT.
Right.
So, sir, any person is, I want them to not ignore CSAT because it can take one complete year.
Hmm. True, 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 true. Wow. Excellent. Excellent, man. So now let us come to mains without losing our time. So mains may, okay. When did you start serious preparation for mains? Because what happens, generally, if suppose if you want to write 2026 exam, prelims examination, okay. Now
Hmm.
people would have started their
Hmm.
preparation now, suppose. Okay. Now, what do you think like for next year ke liye, from now itself, you have to start mains preparation or prelims preparation, or you have to focus on optional subject, or you need to balance all the three, or only any two of them. What do you think is the right approach from now? Because we have almost 1 year from now.
Right, sir. I will give 1 year strategy. Before that, as you asked it, when did you seriously start preparing for mains? Sir,
Right.
actually in 2021 and 2022 prelims, as I already mentioned, my focus was to clear prelims. I was not preparing for mains. I was just
Hmm.
doing expensive reading. There was no structure in my preparation. I
Hmm.
myself was not knowing what I am doing. My only
Hmm.
approach was give me 100 books, I will read them. Like एक
Hmm.
बैल नहीं होता सर खेत में काम करता है, वो कुछ भी करेगा. Like I was a hard working person, but I was not a person with smart work. This was my
Okay.
approach till 2020. 20
Hmm.
in मतलब after 2022 का
Hmm.
means. But sir,
Hmm.
after failing in 2023 prelims, it was like a complete reset for me. It was a complete reset in that sense that after 2023 prelims, I started doing means very seriously because now I had one complete year. And now coming to your second question, which is for people who are giving 2026 prelims, what should be 1 year ka strategy? So, sir, I would say from now onward till the mid January or last January, one should give specifically time specifically to the main. For 6 months, for six and a half months, I say that give to the main. And after January 15, like mid January or in January, one should shift completely to the prelims for 4 months. Giving 4 months time to prelims is very necessary. Now, you also asked one thing that how one should balance GS and optional. So, sir, from now onwards till the January 15 or January end, I would say, sir, that give 50% of your time to GS and 50% of your time to the optional till January till mid January. And after mid January, you have to stick completely to the prelims and also daily 1 hour to the CSAT. This is the for broad strategy. Sir, you are not audible, sir. Your voice is muted.
Yeah. So it means that nearly 4.5 months you have to spend exclusively on prelims.
Right, right,
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now let us get into GS mains May. There are four papers. Okay,
right.
there are four papers. Each of the paper has got 20 questions. Do you think like all 20 questions have to be attempted, or how does it go about?
Sir, I believe that if one is attending 18 and more, like greater than equal to 18 questions, it is a good approach, sir. And if one is giving quality to 10 to 12 questions in that 20 questions, if one can give very good quality to 10 to 12 questions, sir, I think work is done. One will be able to score 100 plus marks in that particular GS paper. And
Okay,
we all know that every year one or two questions are always bouncer. In each
right.
paper, one or two bouncers are there. So it will be there, sir, but keep that question for the last. Like once we
Hmm.
have attempted all the questions that we know in last 3 to 4 minutes, like hardly 3 to 4 minutes are left. In that we can quickly like write maybe 100 words, maybe 70 words for that particular topic which we are very less aware about. But sir, it is I think no need to worry if one is attending 18 plus question and giving quality to 12 questions.
Oh, that's good enough. You don't, even if you don't attempt those two questions, still it's okay.
I think, sir, one should definitely try to attempt 20 out of 20, but it is okay if one is attempting like 18 plus question and giving quality to 12 to 13 questions.
Right, right. Excellent, excellent. So when it comes to essay paper, first thing, the first challenge would be how to select the topic, first of all.
Hmm.
Number two is after selecting the topic, you have to structure your answer or maybe a skeleton initially, maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depending upon the case. And then people say that you have to start writing the answer. Okay. But first of all, how do you select the question? The essay.
Right, right. Right, sir. It seems 20, in 2023 attempt, I think both the, sorry, in 2022, both the sections had very philosophical topics. Like
Mm,
there was no GS oriented topic, and then 2023 they corrected it, and one section was
mm,
GS based, and then in 2024 also one section was philosophical and another section was GS based. So
mm,
maybe UPSC will keep this pattern because after 2022 they changed. And
mm,
sir, now coming to how one should select the topic. Sir,
mm,
I think it should be based on how much content we have for that topic that we are going to select. Because in GS topic, we know that we have content for like almost each and every topic. We generally have the content, but sir,
mm.
we should try to select that content, that topic where we have very multi-dimensional analysis, very
Mm.
multi-dimensional content. For
mm,
example, sir, agriculture is the topic, and being interested in agriculture, I know it in a supply chain format. That from the input, then in the mid process, then harvesting, then marketing, and then in inputs, I will make it multidimensional in the form of seed, then fertilizer, and then water, then soil. If one can think very multidimensionally in a topic, I think that
mm,
that is a good way to go in, to good way to select that topic. This is for GS. Now for philosophical philosophical essay, my criteria for selection used to be that I used to immediately look for how many scholars, how many perspectives I know about this particular topic. Suppose happiness
mm,
was the topic in 2024. I choose the essay that there is no path to happiness and happiness itself is the path. I chose
mm,
this topic particularly because I had already prepared a very good anecdote, a very good story as an introduction for the topic of happiness. I
mm,
already had a very good conclusion for happiness. I already had a list of multiple scholarly point of view regarding happiness. I had a debate style content already ready for this topic.
mm,
So in philosophical essay, I have all what I used to always do. I used to open a debate. I never used to take a side. I will give, and that debate will be very informed debate, very scholarly point of view. I had prepared lot of scholars for lot of topics, especially philosophical topics, like from
mm,
Aristotle, from Socrates to Aristotle, to like my option is not PSIR, but I took help from the PSIR, my friends of PSIR, and I extracted all the scholars and I prepared my many topics said by them. So
mm,
what happens, sir? This helps me in generating perspective because sir, I believe that UPSC examiner is looking for how wide one can think, how
mm,
multidimensional perspective one can give, not
mm,
and not just imposing one's thought. If they're asking about happiness, I'm not going to say that I have any authority to tell that what is happiness. I'm going to tell that, see, that person has said that this is happiness, other scholar has said that this is happiness, and in the end I would say that more debates are required because there is still no conclusion and the world is unhappy.
mm.
So what happens, sir? This was my approach and this was my idea of selection of the topic.
Okay, excellent. Mm, Now, there is one more most important paper called as ethics paper, GS4. GS4 is not only scoring, but it is a tricky one. Okay, especially the case studies. How do you prepare for this ethics paper?
Right, sir. Before that, little bit journey of the ethics. In 2021, I scored only 75 marks in my ethics paper. In
74,
2020, only 75 marks. In
75 marks.
20,
Hmm.
right, in 2021 mains.
Hmm.
And then 2022 come mains, I scored 100, I think 5 marks in my
Ah,
ethics. So I improved around the 30 marks. And
hmm.
then in 2023, as I failed police, but in 2024, I have got around 113 marks in ethics. So it
Hmm.
is a consistent increase.
Hmm.
Now, I would tell what I did, why I got 75, and what I did because of which I got 113. So,
Hmm.
what happened in the beginning? As again, I told there was no structured preparation, there was no notes. Give
Hmm.
me 10 books, I will read all of them. And
Hmm.
what happened after in my after my 2022 ka mains? What I
Hmm.
did, I made notes on each and every topic that is mentioned in the syllabus, each and
Hmm.
every word that is mentioned in the ethics syllabus. I gained a lot of conceptual clarity on ethics paper.
Hmm.
I made lot of diagrams. I prepared quotes for each and every topic that is given. I made ready-made introduction, ready-made conclusion for topics that are given. I
Hmm.
made template case studies. For example, based on previous year questions, I have analyzed that in such and such areas case studies are being asked. So for them, I prepared introduction, conclusion. I prepared quotes. So
Hmm.
in 2024, I focused a lot on my note making strategy. And then
Hmm.
coming to your specific question about the case study, like I think your specific question was how should we deal with the case study? So
Hmm.
having said that, I have made lot of good notes and I have awareness about what is the pattern and what are the questions being asked. So what happened in case study, sir? I used to do something different in the sense that suppose sir, a question is asked that what is ethical dilemma in the above case study. Generally, I'm giving just one example. Question is that
Hmm.
what is the ethical dilemma? Now,
Hmm.
one approach can be just extract 4 or 5 ethical dilemmas. One can write simply 4 or 5 ethical dilemmas. The work is done.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
sir, I changed in 2024 attempt. What I did, I identified like 4 stakeholders, and I wrote two ethical dilemma with respect to each stakeholder.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
this time I give multidimensionality to each question that were asked in the ethics case study. Like there are 4 parts. Whenever
Hmm.
I'm going to answer that, I used to question that, can I divide it into various dimensions, can I write it with respect to various stakeholders. Suppose question is asked that what is the value conflict, so I will not simply write value conflict given in the above case study. I will write value conflict with respect to each stakeholder that is given in the like case study. Like with
Hmm.
respect to government, what is the value conflict and ethical dilemma? With respect to district magistrate, with respect to normal people like general
Hmm.
citizens, with respect
Hmm.
to politicians, with respect to bureaucrats, like
Hmm.
whoever is the like stakeholder given answer, it is easy to do. Once if I have done a lot of practice, then it is easy to bifurcate. So sir, this gives like uniqueness to my answer. I used
Hmm.
to write, like, even if I am going to write solutions, suppose in the fourth question generally they ask what suggestions you will give
Hmm.
to the such and such. So what
Hmm.
I used to do, sir, now never used to give direct suggestions. I used to give suggestions to the citizens differently, suggestions to the government, suggestions to the bureaucrats, suggestions to the all the stakeholders. In this way,
Hmm.
sir, my case study became, and this is about the body part. But in sir introduction conclusion, I used to quote Supreme Court ka judgment, or maybe Constitution ka article, maybe some like if we case study on the women empowerment, I used to quote World Economic Forum ka global gender gap report. So
Hmm.
in this way, I made my introduction look very appealing, very like very interesting introduction. And in conclusion, generally I used to use a quote, because I always used to finish with a quote, because it gives a touch that a rhetoric statement is there at the end of the case study, then it gives a zero point 0.5 marks extra. This is what I used to believe. So sir, in this
Hmm.
way I structured all my case studies. And sir, along with that, I would also want to emphasize that I extensively did Visakha Yadav ma'am ki copy, because she was topper of the ethics. She scored 162 marks in the ethics,
Hmm.
and I followed her copy a lot. Like I saw how she is writing her answers. Like there are quote-based question, how she is approaching quote-based question. We don't always have to write in the point-wise format. We can also write in paragraph format. Like there are
Hmm.
many misconceptions that will be busted if we see topper copy. So I refer to Visakha Yadav ma'am ka copy. Her approach to case study is very unique. Her introductions and conclusions are so beautiful that examiner will decide the marks there itself. And then in the
Hmm.
body part also, sir, definitely she did very multidimensional analysis. Her keywords,
Hmm.
selection of keywords were very unique. Like she used to use keywords like utilitarianism, deontology in the case study itself. In the virtue ethics as a keyword, in the case study, that this approach should be taken because virtue ethics is such and so. Because
Hmm.
so one when one brings scholarly perspective or theoretical perspective, that
Hmm.
certain decisions has a theoretical base. I think
Hmm.
that makes this case study approach very unique, very
Hmm.
solid. In this
Hmm.
way, sir, one can approach. This is my basic approach.
Wow, wow, wow. Excellent, excellent. Earlier, you were mentioning about notes. You have made notes for each and everything. So, is there any big difference between the kind of notes that you make for prelims and the kind of note that you make for mains? I'm talking about your notes, study
Right,
notes.
right,
Hmm.
right. Sir, I specifically focused on making mains notes extensively, but sir, for
Hmm.
prelims, it is not always possible to make notes. In for
Hmm.
prelims, sir, I always say that doing multiple revisions of the standard books is good enough. Because
Hmm.
sir, tomorrow I once tried it also, sir, because this is 5 year journey, and definitely I have made a lot of mistakes. I made 300 pages notes of Lakshmikant, and मैंने उसको फाड़ के फेंक दिया. I teared it down because it was waste. I
Hmm.
realized that for films, it is difficult to make notes because they're asking a lot of things and a lot of revision is required. And when I used to read my notes, I used to feel FOMO कि बहुत सारी चीजें तो छूट गई हैं. I have not still written many facts from the Lakshmikant in that 300 page notes. Lakshmikant is 800 word book, and
Hmm.
I cannot 800 pages book. I
Please.
cannot write each and everything. So, sir, for prelims, I came to this conclusion that reading standard books multiple times should be the approach. But for mains, making notes is very important. For prelims,
Hmm.
I do not suggest making notes. For mains, I suggest making notes. And for
Hmm.
current affairs perspectives are also, for
Hmm.
mains, one should make notes. But for prelims, one cannot make notes because it is too much with
Hmm.
respect to the prelims point of view.
Okay, got it, got it. Excellent.
One more thing, sir. Some
Yeah.
things, some points can be made in notes. For example, if somebody is forgetting ancient history, like ancient history, there are some very factual topics, like
Right.
ancient history, medieval history. Then some points, some things can be written in one's note, like last minute revision notes. But do
Mm.
not try to make extensive notes on prelims. This is what I did because this is what worked for me.
Hmm. Excellent, excellent. By the way, what was your optional and how did you choose your optional? Is it based on the background that you have, or is it based on the scoring trends in UPSC? Because people also talk about scoring trends, and or it really your genuine interest in the subject?
Sir, with respect to optional, also I have a very interesting story.
Yeah, you have for everything. You have very good stories, man. Your journey itself is really very interesting and very. It's like every student should first listen to your story and then start their preparation.
Right.
It becomes a kind of a shortcut for everyone. That's what I'm
Right.
thinking like right now. Excellent.
Sir, in 2021 and 2022 attempts, my optional was civil engineering.
Aha.
Uh,
Okay.
I was like 9 pointer in my IIT days. So I
Hmm.
thought that like I was in overconfidence that if I don't take this optional, who will take it? Like that
Hmm.
kind of mindset I had.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I started preparing civil engineering, and the syllabus is so vast that sir,
Hmm.
it used to consume the time of the GS subject also. Like I
Right.
was not able to give time to GS.
Hmm.
But sir, I was only able to score around 220 marks. Like both
Hmm.
the attempts of the mains with civil engineering, my score was 220 and 222.
Hmm.
But in 2023 ka attempt, I changed my optional from civil engineering to anthropology.
Okay.
In 20 after failing 2022 mains, I decided that I cannot go forward with the civil engineering optional because sir, I had already given my 100% to it.
Hmm.
And then only I decided that now I cannot give more to this subject from my end. I was
Hmm.
totally exhausted with civil engineering. And
Hmm.
sir, I also did not prepare for Indian Engineering Service or GATE. And I was like very fresh to this civil engineering. So I think that backfired for me. It is
Hmm.
not the problem of civil engineering. It is my problem that I was not able to do this subject. The subject is beautiful. Many aspirants are doing, but sir,
Hmm.
it is very tough in the sense that very technical knowledge and is required. And if one numerical I don't know, I cannot answer anything. But in any humanity optional, if one question I don't know, I can still write something like 100 words, 200 words. I can still write. But in
True.
civil engineering optional, if I don't know anything, I cannot write anything. I have to
You're lost.
completely leave.
It's binary system there.
It's
Either you
binary,
know or you
correct?
don't know.
Correct, sir. So this is what then I decided to change to anthropology, and
Hmm.
how I chose anthropology is based on multiple factors. First is that, sir, at this after my 22 mains ka failure, I came across this very beautiful book, *Sapiens*, which is written by
Sapiens,
Yuval
yes.
Noah Harari, and sir,
Right.
this is on human history.
Hmm.
And I read that book, and I was fascinated by this
Hmm.
book and the way that he has presented the idea about human society and culture. And
Hmm.
sir, one more interesting point is that at that time, I went to Vipassana meditation camp in Lucknow,
Hmm.
Bakshi Ka Talab. There,
Hmm.
I met two aspirants who had similar story like me. They had mechanical engineering optional, and they
Hmm.
had shifted from mechanical engineering to anthropology.
Hmm.
Like they also gave two attempts, they were not able to score. And I started talking to them on the 10th day because for 10 days you are not allowed to talk in the Vipassana meditation. So on
Right.
10th day, when we got out of the camp, I started talking to them. Fortunately, I don't know why God sent me those two persons like Shiv
Hmm.
Sharma and Avinu Singh. They are like very good friend to me now. So what happened? They motivated me to shift to anthropology. That
Hmm.
then I got more confidence that okay, I can change, because before that I was in double mind that whether changing an optional is the right approach or not, because I had already put a lot of effort. So
Hmm.
I decided that I will go with anthropology. I started doing anthropology, and sir, in 2023 I failed the prelims. Then I got a lot of time, like 1 year time, to do anthropology in the best
Hmm.
possible way, and I
Hmm.
did that, sir. And in 2024, I am the All India topper of the anthropology. I
Wow.
have got 298 marks in anthropology, and
Hmm.
because of which I think I have got all India rank 78 as well.
Right.
So this is my journey of optional, sir.
So
And
it
sir,
has not.
I think some of the questions that you asked, I'm really sorry. some of the questions that you asked, that on what basis I selected anthropology, sir. First
Right.
is that I got motivated by in the Vipassana meeting. Second is that when I started looking at the syllabus of the anthropology, it
Mm.
generated a lot of interest in me. And also,
Mm.
I had a background of reading *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari. So I
Mm.
started looking at the syllabus. It has some part of biology. It has some part of like society, culture. And sir, the anthropology paper is objective in nature. I don't know. I'm saying this because it has less subjectivity in the sense that the content is relatively fixed compared to other
Mm.
options like PSIS,
True.
sociology. Content is changing. Like a lot of
Mhm.
current affairs is there. In anthropology, there is no current affairs.
Mm.
So it is fixed. And at the same time, with my conversation with various seniors, I got to know that it is very scoring also. Many top. It had produced many toppers in the past
True.
few years. So I thought that why not? Because I was not getting marks and I was desperate for the marks. So
Mm.
anything which is promising me more marks, and also I had interest in it. At the same time, I had the God's direction which I got in Vipassana meditation. I thought that maybe this is the best option for me. So I took it, and sir, it paid really well for me.
Excellent, excellent. But actually, it seems like 2024 anthropology paper has some kind of current affairs inclination.
Yes, yes. It was
Okay.
different, sir. It was
Ah,
little bit different. It was different from the conventional trend. Paper
true.
one was totally conventional. This is to paper one was totally conventional. If one has done 15 to 20 years of previous year question, paper one is easily manageable. But sir,
Hmm.
paper two was very dicey. Like many aspirants were crying after coming out of the hall after paper
True,
two.
true,
And sir,
true.
in paper two, there were many questions which were very unexpected. Syllabus में कहीं पढ़ा ही नहीं है, कोई
Hmm.
notes नहीं है. And sir, मेरे पेपर टू में ऑल इंडिया में हाईएस्ट मार्क्स है, लाइक 156 मार्क्स.
Wow.
और मतलब उसमें मैंने क्या किया, आई यूज करंट लाइक स्टैटिक नॉलेज इन वेरी इनोवेटिव वे. लाइक करंट
Hmm.
अफेयर्स का जो नॉलेज है, सॉरी, द स्टैटिक नॉलेज दैट आई इंटीग्रेटेड देम विद करंट अफेयर्स. एंड सर मतलब इसके द story behind answer writing is totally different. That is a separate question. But sir,
Ah.
paper two was very unconventional, but it can be managed if one has done enough analysis, one has done enough homework.
Hmm. True, 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 true. Fine. By the way, after prelims examination, you hardly have 3 months of preparation. So you need to balance your optional and GS also in a span of just 90 days. बहुत मुश्किल है ना. It's very hard to balance that because just 90 days, less than 3 months. So what was your plan at that time? Prelims के बाद, before mains.
Right. So what I did, sir, 50% time I gave to the optional, 50% time I gave to the GS. And
Oh,
along with that, every weekend I used to write one essay for
okay.
3 months. Every
Hmm.
weekend my essay was done.
Hmm.
So, or 50% time. This was the broad strategy that I followed. And
Hmm.
sir, if one has not done anything for the mains paper before prelims, then
Hmm.
only 3 months one cannot do much. Like
Hmm.
only limited things that can be done. But as I had got one complete year because of 2023 prelims failure, I
Hmm.
actually worked a lot on my mains part. So what
Okay.
happened with in these 3 months, I did not go through much trouble. Like it was
Hmm.
easy for me. I was well aware that what I have to do, what I don't have to do,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then in that manner I proceeded.
Okay, 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 okay. Got it, got it. So you were just mentioning answer writing. So what was your approach in answer writing, mains answer writing?
Right. So for that, sir, I was like I saw one talk, like a former UPSC chairman was there on YouTube, and somebody was asking him one question that, sir,
Hmm.
what is that UPSC looks in an answer writing? So his
Hmm.
only reply was that UPSC answer writing is an exam of discipline.
Hmm.
A bureaucrat has to be disciplined.
Hmm.
What is the meaning of discipline, sir? Discipline का मतलब होता है a very
Hmm.
good structure, a very good presentation style.
Hmm.
In discipline also, credibility of the answer is very important. Means when you are writing
Hmm.
something, are you substantiating it with examples, reports, committees, Supreme Court judgments, data, facts? Are you substantiating it with that? So
Right.
in answer writing, it is very important that you cannot just throw points. You
Hmm.
have to give examples, you have to give data, try to substantiate your point with Supreme Court judgment, constitutional articles, examples. It is very
mm,
important. And for
mm,
that, I have this story that in my 2021 ka 2022 ka mein,
mm,
Mera answer was used to be very generic, very generic. Like, give me a question, I will write random points that are coming into my mind. I will
mm,
just write it, just finish. But
mm.
in 2024, what I did, I had made ready-made introduction and conclusion for almost every topic that is given in the syllabus. I
Okay.
had prepared lot of committees, lot of reports, lot of reports that are released by UN bodies on India ka bodies.
Mm,
Economic survey I prepared properly. I had lot of data ready. I have lot of Supreme Court judgment ready. So what I used to do, I had prepared summary of second ARC reports. So what sir happened is that in my 2024 ka attempt, Mera answer writing was highly credible. Credible in
mm,
the sense that
mm,
every point that I'm writing, I'm trying to give one example. I'm
mm,
trying to give report committee. So
mm,
along with that, this is just a broad overview, but I'm going to details.
mm,
Uh, it is very important that a proper presentation should be there in the answer, sir. A presentation matters a lot. A two contents, suppose two aspirants are writing the same content, one can just write it simply, other aspirant if can make it look very beautiful. Like when we see sir PPT in the corporate world also, a PPT which looks very nice is always makes everybody happy. And a
mm,
PPT which has been made very randomly, it doesn't the idea doesn't strike well. Even if the idea is very solid, it doesn't
mm,
strike well. So
mm,
one has to make presentation very beautiful. What I mean by presentation, sir? Presentation means uh, write a good heading, write a good subheading. Like
mm,
suppose the problem of urbanization has been asked. Suppose the question is
mm,
on what is the
mm,
problem of urbanization and what are the solutions. This is the question.
mm,
So I will give first heading problems of urbanization. Now
mm,
below that, I can do one thing that just give arrow 4 5 arrow and write 4 5 points. This is very
mm,
generic approach. Second
mm,
approach is properly write prime pointers 1 2 3 4 5 and each pointer give one proper subheading. Very
mm,
good subheading. Write 2 3 crisp lines, very crisp. Do not
mm,
over explain. Just
mm,
selected keyword. Then after writing that subheading, give proper example. Try to substantiate the point that I am writing. Do not just throw random point. Do not just write random point. It doesn't work well. Try to
mm,
substantiate, and then second subheading, then again 2 3 lines, 2 lines, then substantiate like that. And then whenever possible, try to make diagrams like triangular
mm,
diagram, quadrilateral diagram. Try to
mm,
make hub and spoke diagram. Try to make
mm,
arrow diagram. Means there are many templates that one should include to make one answer look very good. Try to include in geography question. Try to include maps. This year, the question was on twisters in the Gulf of Mexico. So I
mm.
drew the map of Gulf of Mexico. Along with that, I also drew the diagram of the cyclone because twister is known
Wow.
like cyclones are known as twister in that region. So I
Right.
made sure that I am making the diagram of cyclone. I'm making the because it was a 15 marker.
Mm,
So I had pages also, like 3 pages
mm,
are there. If one page totally I'm dedicating to the diagrams, then also I have sufficient space to write the answer.
mm,
So in international questions, always try to make the diagram of the countries, especially in the 15 markers. There is a high chance that you can make diagrams on the countries, especially if the question is on bilateral relationship. Try to make
mm,
diagram. So in that way, sir, in the geography question, diagrams are very relevant. In the international relations, it is relevant. And then in other questions of the GS, one should always include triangular diagram, hub and spoke diagrams. So, sir, my whole point is presentation style matters a lot. If one
mm,
looks at the copies of toppers, you will always see they try to give different templates to each
mm,
and every question. Like you won't find monotonicity. There will
mm,
be change. So, sir,
mm,
this is a smart work that one needs to follow in the mains as well writing. That work, sir. And sir, it is very important to prepare introduction, conclusion. Sir,
mm,
they pay very well, and one does not have to just write the introduction that one has prepared, but try to contextualize it with respect to the question that has been asked. Suppose a question is given, try to use certain keywords into your ready-made answers, the a ready-made introduction that you have made, so that
mm.
context is given. So when context is given, sir, it becomes very beautiful introduction.
Right.
So, sir, this was my broad strategy about the answer writing.
So you mean like for any given topic, geography, you need to frame your answer differently. Economy, your answer should be framed differently. Polity, your answer should be framed differently. Something like that you were saying?
Sir, I am not saying that there should be very different approach. I am saying that one should be aware about 10 to 15 templates, and
Okay.
those
Okay.
templates can be used in any kind of question. And
Right.
sir, it is also true. It is also true that in geography, suppose geography is very static. So sir,
Hmm.
introduction will also be generally static.
Hmm.
And in polity, political question, governance question, generally current affairs related introduction can also be given. Like one
Hmm.
nation, one election is being asked, so usse related, you can start with the introduction that Ramnath Kovind panel has recently submitted its report. Like that introduction can be given. So sir, in
Right.
that way, one should have a 15 to 20 to 15 templates in the mind, so that immediately
Hmm.
one can go forward with that template.
Right, right. But so many templates, so many introduction templates, so many conclusion templates, so many reports, so many judgments, so much of data. So how to remember all these things? It's very difficult, not to remember so many things.
Sir, revision is the key. Revision is the key, and a lot of answer writing practice. Sir, this is true that this is the toughest examination of the country, and it
Right.
will require such approach. If one is willing to do these things, then sir, it
Mm.
really works. It is all worth it. Now I have got selected, and 2 months, 2 months have passed, and I can say that it was all worth it. And doing all this hard work and doing all this minute detailing, sir, this
Mm.
one aspirant has to go through all these things, and sir, it is possible, sir. And I also got 1 year का time, and also I told sir कि मेरा journey 5 year long था. So you
Mm.
can imagine कि एक 5 साल में I must have done a lot of things. I
True.
have made lot of mistakes. I have made lot of notes. I have
Mm.
teared down notes and remade the notes. I have done everything. So, sir,
Mm.
maybe my story is different from the aspirant whose attempt was only first attempt. So,
Mm.
first attempt wala, he will not explain in such a way. Maybe he may say that, "अरे sir, बस कर दिया ऐसे तो हो गया." But
Uh-huh.
because I have gone through everything, so I am able to tell.
True. 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 I could sense it actually. So, एक बात बताना, because in this entire civil services preparation, somewhere or the other, current affairs is very important. And for current affairs, there are multiple sources. One way of looking at is like daily read the newspaper, or another way of working on it is read the compilations given by someone, an institute or someone. So, what do you think is a right methodology, or you have to go with a mix, or you have to go with any one of the varieties?
Right, right. Current affairs had been confusing for me in the beginning, but
Hmm.
eventually I figured one way.
Hmm.
The way I figured is that one newspaper I will do daily for 1.1 to 1.5 hours. This was must.
Okay. Hmm.
Along with that, I used to follow one monthly magazine.
Hmm.
And I would say that one can follow any magazine, but there are some magazines I would not like to take the names. That
Okay.
one should avoid. But means majority of the magazines are good. Any monthly magazine one can stick to. Along with that, daily reading of the newspaper. These two things only I did, and it worked for me. And sir, in that itself, I also want to emphasize that do not try to make daily notes of the newspaper, because it will become too much. It will
Hmm.
not be possible. And
Hmm.
what one can do is, from monthly compilation, one can make notes
Hmm.
specifically relevant for the mains.
Right.
The monthly compilation specifically for mains one can make, but for prelims try to only highlight or underline using a
Hmm.
different kind of highlighter, different color of highlighter, so that
Ah,
directly you can revise it.
right. Got it. Got it. Excellent. Now, in this entire process, there might be instances where you might felt like, yeah, today is the best day of my preparation. So there might be certain days like that. Many days might be there, or there might be a day where I felt like, "Arey yaar, aaj to, this today is not at all a good day for me." Because at the end of the day, definitely you will come to know like today happened to be good day or a bad day. Now, assuming that one of the days is a very good day, what would have
Hmm.
been the routine of the day?
Okay, okay, right. I understand the question.
Ah,
With respect to the UPSC preparation,
right.
how good day and how a worst day is looks like.
Right.
So, sir, for me, a good day means if I am giving my 12 hour or 15 hours of the work, if I am
Hmm.
doing 12 to 15 hours of work and in a very immersive way, like I am lost in my book, that is a
Hmm.
good day for me. And if I'm not able to do anything, like if I'm wasting my time, I'm only able to read for 2 to 3 hours, then
Hmm.
it used to make me feel very bad, very disgusting,
Hmm.
like a very bad guilt feeling of guilt is there, that oh
Hmm.
my god, I have wasted my whole day. And this has,
Hmm.
like, my in 5 year long journey, this has happened many times, that
Right.
I have wasted these days. That was the
Hmm.
worst day. But when I used to read like 15 hours, that was the best day. And sir, regarding routine, I would
Hmm.
say on my best days, and just like I would say, in between the 2024 ka prelims and mains, most
Hmm.
of the days were best days, because
Hmm.
this time I only got selected. Other than sleeping and nature's call, I
Hmm.
used to continuously read my
Okay.
whole time. Other than sleeping and nature's call and basic necessities, my whole
Hmm.
time was studying, reading, writing. So
Hmm.
they were the best time. And the
Right.
worst time is, I mean, I don't
Someday.
have to mention, it happens. Worst day, sir, worst day can happen at any day.
True, 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 true. It can be sometimes a lot of frustration also come, like I have been reading so many things, but there are so many still more things to read. तो एक बार देख लिया था वो, इट लुक्स लाइक ए माउंटेन ऑफ थिंग्स विच आर पेंडिंग. वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस में रहता ना, इतना पाइल अप पेंडिंग फाइल्स
Right,
रहता. सो यू फील, अगर
right.
इतना पढ़ना है अभी मैं. सो कभी कभी होता है कि डिमोटिवेट हो जाता है. नाउ टेल मी वन थिंग, व्हेन एवर यू गेट डिमोटिवेटेड, व्हाट विल यू डू? You have any
Sir,
friends, or you have any mentor, or you have family members, or generally, what will you do if at all you get demotivated?
right, right. So as I already told you, after 2020 mains, I was introduced to the Vipassana meditation.
हाँ.
But actually till 2020 second attempt, I was not very demotivated because I was clearing prelims each time. So I thought that I am doing good, because
हाँ.
that is the standard that we use.
हाँ. हाँ. हाँ.
So after 2020 means, when I failed 2022 ka means, that was the time of demotivation for me. Like I
हम्म.
used to feel discouraged कि पता नहीं
हम्म.
होगा कि नहीं, पता नहीं सही लाइन में है कि नहीं, आईआईटी
हम्म.
से थे, कहीं और गए होते, फॉरेन चले गए होते, like those thoughts used to come. But sir, as I was
हम्म.
introduced to Vipassana meditation, it saved me. Vipassana, I used to daily do 1 hour of the Vipassana meditation.
Wow.
Uh, Either in the morning 1 hour, or sometimes half an hour in the morning and half an hour just before the sleep. So
हम्म.
1 hour I used to do. So
हम्म.
that helped a lot, in the sense that it made me mentally stable and mentally calm. Like
हम्म.
the central point of the Vipassana meditation is to bring equanimity in one's mind. And
हम्म.
equanimity is like a keyword in Bhagavad Gita, sthita pragya. Sthita pragya.
हम्म.
That was my
हम्म.
approach. I am not getting too negative or getting too positive. I am just
हम्म.
balanced. I am just there, just trying to experience that these two shall pass. Like the central theme of this Vipassana is that these two shall pass and everything is temporary. So when I'm getting a feeling of demotivation, I know that this feeling of demotivation will pass by tomorrow, and tomorrow will I will have another high, that oh, I am feeling so good. This will also pass. Then I will again get some low. So what happens, sir? I started becoming an observer to these events. Like drashta
हम्म.
bhav ek संस्कृत में होता है. Like
हम्म.
observer to all the happiness, all the sorrow, all the highs and all the lows, rather than identifying myself with high and low, or demotivation or high motivation. I became simply the observer of these states of mind. So this
Okay.
was my learning from Vipassana meditation. And sir, when I based my life on this philosophy, my life became very good. And in any given situation, I started doing well.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Any piece of advice to the students, the new aspirants, or the old aspirants who are not able to clear?
Sir, the piece of advice is that first is that try to give your 100% to this examination. This
Hmm.
examination is extremely tough, and you have to become the best version of yourself if you want to clear this examination. You have to
Hmm.
push yourself as hard as possible. You have to breach your boundaries that you yourself has created into your mind. This is the first advice that I want to give. One should have this approach till like third attempt. After that, try to have a plan B. My second advice is that after you have given this your 100%, then
Mm,
also think about plan B. Like after my third attempt, I also started thinking about plan B as a teaching. I like
mm,
teaching, and I
mm,
could do teaching for the rest of my life with a lot of happiness. I know because I gave one 3 month course, 3 month crash course to IITJ aspirants
mm,
during my college days. So I know that I can teach well. So
mm,
this was my plan B. So I would say after you have given your 100% in 2 to 3 attempts, try to have a plan B. And
mm,
then the third advice that I want to give is that UPSC is not the end of life.
mm,
UPSC is just one examination. You have come to this examination to know yourself in a better way, to know the world in a better way. It will
mm,
increase your awareness about the national, international, geography, society, polity, economy. Once you know, you are very aware citizen. Tomorrow, if you open a business also, any startup also, if you want to go to any other jobs also, you will do great because
mm,
you are a very aware citizen. Awareness is very important. Like Buddha says, ignorance is the root cause of all the problems. So
mm.
little bit ignorance will be done away if we prepare for UPSC. I'm not saying all the ignorance because the amount of ignorance is too much, but little bit will be solved. So I think the UPSC is not the end of life. All the aspirant community, give your 100%. Be very positive. Be very optimistic. Be confident, and have trust on yourself that what you are going to do will work. And also, last line that I want to say is that fortune favors the brave. This is the line by Machiavelli, who said that if you are brave enough to do all the basics, all the important homework that is required for the UPSC, then tomorrow luck will also favor you. And luck comes only once you have done your part. God help those who help themselves. So this is what my advice.
Wow, excellent, man. Excellent. With this note, actually, let me close this session. But before closing this session, I would just like to have some questions from students. If at all someone is attending, someone has any doubts, uh, dear participants, if at all you have any questions to ask, you can put your questions in the chat box. Abhishek is there to answer your questions. Any kind of a question, because I try to ask as many questions as possible. And in fact, we almost crossed more than 1 hour, 15 minutes. And then any questions that you have, please post it in the chat box. If you don't have any questions, I have plenty of questions to ask anyway. But Abhishek, we should meet, man, because the way you are expressing and what I could sense, before you told me like you are fond of teaching, I could sense it very easily because the
Okay.
passion with which you are explaining things, na. See, generally what happens, na. You also mentioned this one, the first rank, first attempt guy who got into service. Generally, what happens? Sir, ऐसा मैं किया हो गया. मैं ये books पढ़ लिया and then finally I got into service. वो क्वेश्चंस आया मैं अच्छा लिखा एंड देन मेंस आर आंसर राइटिंग के लिए एक इंट्रोडक्शन चाहिए बॉडी चाहिए कंक्लूजन चाहिए बस
Hmm.
वे यू आर एक्सप्लेनिंग your entire experience of 5 years you could actually speak it in just 1 hour 15 minutes and I'm definitely sure that if given a mic to you and in front of you students who are new aspirants 2, 3, 4 hours also is not sufficient for you to talk to them
Right, sir.
because
Right.
you have
Right.
so much of experience to share
Right, sir. This is
and you are
true.
fond of sharing again. It's not like you have that experience you don't want to share. You're very fond of sharing that experience. I'm really so fascinated to see you talk, man. And I think there is one question from one of the student.
But there's one in Q&A and there's one in chat also.
Okay, fine. So, sir, which NCRT books do you prefer for us to study? Is it the new version or old version, or is there any specific year?
Sir, I think it doesn't matter कि new ही पढ़े कि old पढ़े. One
Hmm.
can read any of them. Like I would say, read new ones. Because see, NCRT, what is the purpose of NCRT? Before that, you have to understand the purpose of NCRT. Purpose
Hmm.
of NCRT is to make you aware about the things. NCRTs are not going to make you clear this examination, but through NCRTs, like for if you are reading 6 to 12 ka polity ka book, it will make you aware about the Indian Constitution, Indian
Hmm.
polity. But ultimately, you have to read Lakshmikant and advanced means material to clear the examination. The purpose
Hmm.
of NCRT is not that through NCRT you will clear this exam, but through NCRT you will become more aware. You will be aware
Hmm.
of each topic of the syllabus. So I would say go with the new NCRTs. Try to do like 6 to 12. Like I prefer three NCRTs are more important. One is
Hmm.
history. History ka book from 6 to 12 is very important. Second is the
Hmm.
geography, history, and third is the polity. Do not
Hmm.
read economy. You can ignore economy because economy is not given in a very good way in the like 11th and 12th, and I think it is that is not much relevant for the UPSC also. You can
Hmm.
read economy from other sources. For science and tech also, do not like here I do not want to give a conclusive statement. Like
Hmm.
for science and tech, one may go, but for three subjects that is must is that history, geography, and polity. It is
Quality.
very important that you read NCRTs. Other subjects you can ignore, but sir, the purpose of NCRT should not be that through NCRT you will clear prelims or mains. The purpose is to know, to be aware about all the topics, and then ultimately you have to read the standard books. Then only you will clear.
Hmm. Perfect. 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 Yaul. So one more question is how many hours can working professional give in each day? The working professional, you have to dedicate some few hours, man, because how many hours that you have to decide. Because Abhishek cannot tell, right, how many hours that you have to give. But I think, Abhishek, you can comment on this because if someone has to work also along with their preparation, a working professional. Okay. So it definitely takes hell lot of time. It's not months, it might take years also because there's so much of syllabus to complete and you need to master the techniques also. And now that you have told us so many tips and tricks in this entire preparation, you actually made everything very shortcut actually because your entire experience, you made it as a very shortcut right now. But at the same time, the student has to put all these efforts and a working professional doesn't have that much of time.
Hmm.
What do you think? Like, suppose someone is working right now, 2026, they want to give their attempt. Is it a possibility, or they should aim directly for 2027? If at all 2026, how many hours per day minimum is required? If it is 27, how many hours might be required? A typical
Right, right,
question, but yeah, there are so many
right.
professionals who are working right.
I got the question, sir. Recently, I have one friend. He's working in the Microsoft. He has
Okay.
contacted me that he want to prepare for civil services, and
Hmm.
he told me that he has 2 3 hours of extra every day, extra time every day.
Right.
So I made him join a 3 year long course.
Okay.
I told him, I will tell you one method, but you have to follow it properly, and it will work. Because if you can only give 3 hours, it is
Hmm.
not. He wanted a strategy for 2026.
Hmm.
I said him that I do not want to give you false hope because
Hmm.
after 2026 आप मुझे गाली दोगे. तो मैंने उसको बताया कि भाई based on my personal experience only I can tell what worked for me. Based on that only I can tell. So
Hmm.
if you are able to like, I made him join 3 year का course कि if you give 3 hours daily and also do not leave the job because it is so uncertain. UPSC preparation is so uncertain कि बहुत problem हो सकती है. You may not,
Right.
and in Microsoft he is earning like in lakhs, like 50 lakhs, more than 50 lakhs. So
Hmm.
मैंने उसको कहा कि भाई you should not leave, and he is happy also. He is only giving 2 to 3 hours daily. Classes are
Hmm.
there, preparing current affairs, going very smoothly. He is happy.
Hmm.
So this is my answer to for working professional. But if somebody is targeting 2026 and working full time also, I would say that they should leave the job because it
Hmm.
won't be possible. Like
Hmm.
if they are very extraordinary or if they have done like past 4 5 years they have done a lot of work or they have understood everything, every syllabus, every nitty and gritty of this examination, then only they can manage like give 3 4 hours daily. Then they can do. But I'm
Hmm.
assuming that if one is beginner and one wants to crack only in 2026 along with the working, I think sir it is very difficult.
Very
Like
difficult.
I'm not a working professional, so I do not want to make a very conclusive comment on that. But
Hmm.
my mind says that it is not possible.
Hmm. True, true, true. You are right. It's a very, very, very genuine opinion because instead of actually giving a false hope that yes, you can crack this examination, you start your preparation, 2 or 3 hours is sufficient. That's a completely wrong approach. Okay. Anyway, one more question from question answer. Sir, suggest a strategy for CSAT. I think already Abhishek discussed this one. The strategy is already being discussed for CSAT, arithmetic, reasoning ka kya hai, and then Abhishek, one thing that even I forgot. At least I now this guy reminded me of that. Arithmetic and reasoning, since you being an IITN, so you have some kind of good command over arithmetic and reasoning because you would have done at some point of time, or your thought process is in sync with that. But when it comes to English reading comprehension, so
Hmm.
whether you're an IITN or non-IITN, it doesn't matter. It's the same, right? So how did you tackle that English part?
Sir, I think if one is doing very expensive reading, like if one is doing daily 1.5 hours of the newspaper reading, one is
Hmm.
reading books very genuinely, it generates a sense of intuitiveness, and it
Hmm.
generates a sense of very good worldview, a very good
Hmm.
awareness about the worldview. And
Hmm.
ultimately, if you see all the comprehensions of the CSAT, you will find that they are such topics, they are such things which we have read somewhere at some point of time, like GS ka content they have, it is there. But having said that, other than that, CSAT का approach should be that for comprehension specifically, previous year question जितनी बार आप कर सकते हो, because उसमें भी एक पैटर्न है. लाइक मैंने बताया कि प्रीलिम्स में जीएस में पैटर्न है, वैसे सीसेट में भी पैटर्न है. नॉट इन द मैथमेटिक्स एंड अरिथमेटिक एंड रीजनिंग देयर इज नो पैटर्न, बट
Hmm.
इन comprehension there is a pattern. You have to
Hmm.
understand the language that they are using, what kind of language is usually getting correct, what
Hmm.
kind of assumption is usually getting correct. You will see that extreme statement is there, it is wrong. Or you will see any fact is anything has been said and it is remotely related to the comprehension, but directly not given in the comprehension, then it is wrong. This is
Hmm.
the pattern that you have to identify. This is about practice, sir. Like
Hmm.
take 10 years of the CSAT, do the practice. But sir, I also want to assure that if one is doing daily newspaper reading 1.5 hours and have done extensive reading of all the GS material and all those things, I think sir it will not be a problem
Hmm.
to crack the comprehensive part.
Right, right, right. One last thing before we close the session, because we didn't see not many questions. Last thing would be, these days I could see so many students coming to me and asking me like, "Sir, I want a personal mentor for me. I want mentorship. You become my mentor, or please arrange someone to be my mentor, because daily what I have to do, I'm not able to identify. Let my mentor tell me that, handhold me and take me for completion of this journey." Do you think like this mentorship is something which is so important?
Sir, see, इन द पास्ट जैसे कृष्ण अर्जुन के लिए मेंटर उनके कृष्ण थे,
Ah,
और चंद्रगुप्त के लिए चाणक्य थे.
right,
मेंटर बहुत जेन्युइन मेंटर बहुत कम होते हैं.
right.
मतलब of course mentorship is very important thing if you can find the right kind of mentor, because कृष्ण भी गिन के होते हैं, चाणक्य भी गिन के होते हैं, उंगलियों पे आप गिन सकते हैं.
Right.
So the problem is, if you can find, that is well and good, no problem. But आज के समय में जो कलयुग का समय चल रहा है, in these days you have to become your own Krishna, you have to become your own Arjun, you have to become your own Chanakya, you have to become your own Chandragupta. The
Ah,
problem is, sir, there are so many fake mentors. Trust me, sir, 5 years I have been in this journey, and
hmm,
after clearing this examination, I am well immersed in the market. I know how things are
hmm,
working. I have
hmm.
seen that there is so much fake mentorship, and
True.
mentors do not give time because they are assigned like 50 students. They are not going to
Hmm.
give you the
Obviously.
time. Very less time, very generic things they will tell. If you have some bhaiya, didi who have cleared this examination, you are blessed that
Hmm.
they can give personal attention. But sir, if one can find mentor, good. But if one cannot find mentor, I would say do research, because as Abraham Lincoln has said कि अगर एक पेड़ काटने के लिए if axe is given for 4 days, he will make the धार, उसको
Right.
शार्प करेंगे, और 3 days he will cut. तो if you are lacking of mentor, if you don't have mentor, try to do research on each and every topic. Try to find the best sources. Like Askal, so sir, there are so many materials like YouTube. You go on YouTube, go for Topper Talk, watch 10 to 15 Topper Talks. There are Topper channels on Telegram. Like I myself have a Telegram channel. If one searches, they can easily find. So in that, I share all my basic strategy. Try to do lot of research. I would say dedicate 1 month for research, no problem. Because if you are going with wrong approach, it will cost you more months, maybe years. But
True.
if you can do research for 1 month for each thing that you are going to follow in the coming 1 year, I think that that works well, and ample resources are there. अभी तो चैट जीपीटी है, आप उससे भी पूछ सकते हो, और चैट जीपीटी will also give you sources and links of the topics from where it is generating its content. If you ask it specifically, give me source, give me the link from where you are telling me this advice, it will give.
Yes.
So मेरा सजेशन है सर, अभी ना एआई बहुत एडवांस हो गया, वी हैव टू आल्सो बिकम एआई. So we have to work in that direction, and I would say good luck with the mentors.
Right. So nice of you. So nice. So nice suggestions. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining today. And then definitely we should be meeting sometime, man, because I want to invite you to Hyderabad to talk to our students here. So I will talk to you maybe later on offline. A meeting में नहीं, बाद में बात करूंगा. And then we'll have a very good discussion later on also. Right now we had really fantastic discussion. And the way you answered questions, it's amazing, man. Amazing, literally amazing. Because your entire experience is literally, I could see here in your face, in the way
It
you are
wants to come
talking.
out. It wants to come out. It is not hesitant to come.
Excellent. Not everyone will be so happy to share, really. And you are there to share, really. Thank you so much, man. This will be really very good inputs to the students. Those people who will be watching this online, who are already watching right now, and those who will be watching later on through online. And we'll catch up later. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later somewhere.
Definitely we'll catch up sometime. Okay.
Abhishek, thank you so much for this session. And students, thank you so much for joining. And Abhishek, I think this would have been very helpful. And I think people will be watching online also. This will be very helpful. Thank you so much for your this much time also. And sir, thank you so much for taking the session. And we'll be again back with another session. Till then, good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.